If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. What's good, YouTube? So, I had mentioned I'd kind of been feeling the idea of trying out the Roid deck recently because I felt like the whole Express Roid, Armoroid combo is kind of just like a better version of the recurring Nightmare stuff that I was trying before with Orichalco's Shuneros. And I think that definitely is probably true, at least in a vacuum. So I wanted to give it a shot. I looked at some of the builds that are around, and I came up with this. Now, after playing my matches, I definitely have some thoughts about this deck, but let's quickly go over some of the card choices first. So we got the full Machina package. I actually opted not to include Force, even though almost all the Roid builds do include Machina Force. I felt like with the Armoroid thing, when you have these other like engines enabling the Reborn for Fortress, you don't super need that like extra thing, but if you want to play like one Force, I don't think that would be bad. Cyber Dragons, of course, have to be there to enable Future Fusion. Overall, I felt like the Future Fusion stuff wasn't really strong enough to justify playing Sark to get to it. I definitely think it should be included, just because it does instantly set up Express Roid, but the fact that you have to draw it specifically with Express Roid for it to really do anything, and then also Over Dragon will just nuke your board too, it definitely gave me some pause about that. Other than that, we have Gor's Trag, we have Caius, Raikou Hamster, so kind of just like a lot of this deck really just plays like a normal Machina deck essentially, and you're just using Express Roid to enable Fortress more. But yeah, you're playing a lot of the sort of standard Machina control stuff in the form of the Raikou Caius and the Milling. Milling gets Fortress to the grave. Milling also can get Armoroid to the grave, which means it's another reason you don't have to rely on Future Fusion as much. So I'm a little iffy on Sark. Limiter Removal is another card I'm iffy on. I included it first because it's like, oh, you're playing all these other machines, but it's like, not really. You're basically just still using it to pump up only Fortress, and it's kind of bad in here. The same reason it's bad in the normal Machina build. It's just like a super win more card that's usually dead in your hand and doesn't do anything. So I think I would probably take this out even before I took out something like Gold Sark. I found in a lot of these replays, though, I was just Gold Sarking for like heavy or brain control. I even considered at one point Gold Sarking for Express Roid over friggin' Future Fusion because I just already had this set up with all the milling. So maybe it feels like the sort of all-in aspect of some of the packages in the Roid decks aren't really that needed, I guess you could say. And then other than that, we just got staples, right? We got defense, we got spell trap removal, we got brain control. So yeah, that's the list. That's some of my preliminary thoughts. Let's go look at the replays. I actually played against two other machine decks. I think they were both like weird Machina Gadget builds. So this first one, the opponent's on 46. We open a kind of hand. And here, look, with this hand, I don't really want a Gold Sark for Future Fusion because we don't have Express Roid. So it's like, what's even the point in Gold Sark for Future Fusion? I just Gold Sark for Brain Control instead because I have this Caius. And the opponent summons a Gadget. I'm like, crap. This Raikou's really bad, but it was the only thing I could really summon, so I decided to set it. Here, we go with Gold Sark for Sidra at this point, since I see that they're playing Gadgets, and Sidra can just eat every Gadget that they summon. Obviously, very good. At this point, we drop Tragodia, but unfortunately they have the Smashing Ground, so we can't pitch that Steamroid to steal the Gadget. But the Steamroid actually just walls this entire deck, right? They have to friggin' summon Machina Fortress if they want to get over it, and they don't have access to that right now, so we're feeling pretty good. They just hit into the Steamroid, and yeah, they can't get rid of it. It's just an 18 defense dude right there. So we get these Sidra to our hand now, and now we're just chilling, like seeing if we can, seeing how many Gadgets we can get them to commit to summoning before we go for this. They go for the Fortress here, and I think we respond with Bottomless. They respond with Compulse, then they pitch their last Gadget, which is very crucial because now the whole Gadget Congo line is over. We go for Compulse, and the Steamroid walls again. Now at this point, we want to try and force out a Battle Trap, which luckily we do, so we can go straight in for that Cyber Dragon and make a 5,000 attack Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon with the entire enemy board. So here we're going to flip up the Card Trooper, attack in, and we actually get cylindered for 5k damage, at which point I'm like, gotta tribute this Trooper, right? Because we know about the Fortress in hand. If they draw a machine, and then one of these sets is Judgment, which it very well could be, then we're going to die. So we tribute for Caius, and then we hit the Judgment with the Caius. So we trade a nice trade there. And more importantly, we're out of the danger zone. We use Armoroid to bring back the Fortress just so we don't die to like Brain Control, and then they don't have any plays. So now we're going in for game here. We get booked, and I made some mistakes at the end here. I was just like too greedy with my Solemn Judgment for no reason. I just like kept holding it, and now we get put out of BrainCon range. So I decide to, yeah, I should have just taken out the Fortress with a Fortress effect, but I didn't register to me that I actually couldn't activate Brain Control anymore. So now it's like we just still have this Judgment, but fortunately we top deck a Machina Gear Frame, so we can pitch Fortress, special Fortress, and then just attack for lethal. So on to game number 2. Game number 2, we open a pretty sick hand, not gonna lie. Hamster, very good versus Gadgets. Sidra, very good versus Gadgets. Heavy Storm, very good versus Gadgets. We see him set everything, though, so we kind of got to worry about something like a Starlight Road. He just goes Rando Typhoon, but if I had mirrored here, then I would have just gotten roaded. So, yeah, he accidentally makes a mistake and reveals that he has Royal Oppression, which cannot be activated in the damage step. So at this point, it's just a matter of we got to pick off the correct back row and try to activate this Heavy Storm. I think I maybe shouldn't have set this Dust Shoot, because like at the rate we're going, it's never going to be live, right? He does have Smashing to good. Oh, wait. The mistake was I just like forgot I had Dust Shoot there, and I didn't use it when he had 4 in hand. So definitely a big screw up on my part there. I was like, oh, this card's just forever dead. But then he actually didn't set on that one turn, and it was live. So we know the defense card has to be one of these two because they're the only 2 remaining sets from turn 1. We go for one. It's just Mirror Force, so that means we can MST the last one guaranteed and go for a big Heavy Storm at this point. Clear everything. I think for a while, here we have a couple of options. We could summon Gear Frame, get Fortress, and then pitch to steal. Or pitch the other Gear Frame to steal, and then maybe summon the other Fortress too. I just decide to, or we could just summon Gear Frame and get Fortress and then attack over 2. I decide to go for the 6,000 attack Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I'm like, whatever, might as well. And they actually just scoop when they see the 6,000 attack Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Which, yeah, they would have died next turn, even with Smashing Ground. We summon a Gear Frame, we summon Fortress, we attack for game. So, yeah, Heavy Storm into clear 5 back row into Sidra, clear 5 monster zones, very funny. Next game, this was against some like 60 card Gadget thing. It looked like a Gwari build, or like it was inspired by a Gwari build or something. Because I remember he played this like 60 card Flamvel Gadget thing. It had like Recruiters, a Giant Rat, Shiba Warrior, Taro. Had like Widespread Ruin and Iron Wall. It was super weird, but I think this is something akin to that deck. So here we do the classic play, right? You charge for Raikou, and then you set Hamster, and then they attack in thinking it's Raikou, and it's like, ha, it's Hamster, you've been fooled. So we just go for the Gear Frame Crash, don't really want to use the Raikou. They go for Brain, they try to make Stardust on me here, but we have the Bottomless to kind of interrupt that. And they just go set. Here we bring out the Machina Gear Frame, and I make a mistake. I decide to flip up the Raikou at this point when I should have just, if I was going to Raikou, I should have done it initially. At this point, we should probably just not. We should probably just attack the Diva, but yeah, that's not what happens. Then we awkwardly get booked, have to summon the Fortress just to clear the Deep Sea Diva, and then set a Solemn Judgment. Here he crashes with Rat, gets a Gadget, attacks over the set's Machina Gear Frame. But we have double Armoroid in hand. At this point, I think this might be the game where I considered, like, what if I just Sark for Expressroid here? I think I actually don't. I decided to Sark for Heavy Storm, just so I can have, because I've got another Armoroid, and I can stop this Catastor, and we have a Raikou set. So I'm just like, we have plenty of pressure, and then we draw Caius too. So if we just go for Heavy Storm, like, there's really nothing they can do. At this point, it doesn't end up mattering what I Sark for, because we just Raikou the back row, and then revive a second Fortress, and then Caius that Fortress, and then attack for, like, way over a game. So, yeah, ultimately the decision was meaningless, but I almost Sarked for Expressroid there, and looking in hindsight, it might have even been right to Sark for Expressroid, which is very funny. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I was Sarking for Future Fusion a whole lot in these matches, which is why I think I'm probably going to take that card out. So the dog over the Hamster is rough, but fortunately he just attacks, which means we get to out the tuner and not have to worry about any big Stardust getting made here. We get to drop Tragodia pitch the Steamroid, steal, and then we have Book to dodge the Phoenix Chain, which is pretty cool. We flip up, of course, never playing around Mirror Force because the opponent is on like, they're on 60. If we play around Mirror Force, that's just a misplay, I think, at that point. So he goes, hits over my Tragodia, that's fine. Shrink takes out the Fire Dog, again, that's fine. We basically snatch-stealed that Fire Dog. Anyway, here he makes a big mistake, and he makes Red Dragon Archfiend, which actually doesn't stop Raikou from flipping. Red Dragon Archfiend only stops like battle recruiters like Pyramid Turtle. But flip monsters are still going to go off, so we just get to kill it. He should have made a Stardust Dragon instead, although I kind of see why he didn't, because all this time I'm thinking these back row are real, but it's actually just Starlight Road Trap Stun. So none of the back row actually do anything whatsoever. We draw into Express Roid, which is dead at the moment. We only have one Roid in the graveyard. Fortunately, we have plenty of ways to get to another one. We just need to draw one. I decided to just like pretend I have Gores, which he doesn't fall for. He just summons Diva and then attacks and then Synchros. So I guess he had the Sakuretsu kind of to help mitigate against that as well. He makes Android instead of Catastor, which is nice. I guess he gets to keep gaining life, but he maybe also has to worry about Cyber Dragon. I think playing around Cyber Dragon is probably correct, but in this particular situation, it means I don't have to just Vortex this. I can like try to bait things to get rid of it. So here, we finally draw that Future Fusion, which is great because it sets up the Express Roid play. We add back 2 Armoroids, so that's 2 more Monster Reborns, and then we just go set. But we have to worry because now we have this clock of like the Fortress, or the Over Dragon, excuse me, is going to come down on my second turn. It's going to nuke my whole board, so we kind of have to win by then. Which is rough because the opponent's got, I'm staring down 5 back row. It just didn't occur to me that the back row were all fake. It's 3 copies of Starlight Road and a Trap Stun. So I decided to bring this back. I maybe could have blind sniped a back row with a Typhoon, but I'm thinking at this point we might have to save this to like protect me from losing my whole board to the Fortress Dragon or something, so I could outman Typhoon next draw phase maybe. But I decided to attack, and then he doesn't do anything on Declaration or in Battle Step. So I decided to damage step limiter because, of course, that's just lethal on the board. That puts us to 10,000 over 24, so that's 76. He's on 72, so he's on 73. So he actually just dies to limiter removal with 4 back row because none of them do anything. So our double fortress with limiter is actually going to swing in for game. I'm completely shocked. I didn't think we would actually get to randomly game shot with limiter like that, but that's how it played out. So yeah, those were the matches. Like I said, it plays pretty similar to like a regular Machina deck, but you've got like this Roid package to enable summoning Fortress more. I think it's pretty cool. There's definitely things I like about it. There's things that I don't like about it. If I played it in the future, like I said, I might change it up. I might take out like some of the limiter and Gold Sark stuff and just put in more like good cards. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like. But yeah, I think the Machina engine inherently also always feels really strong. I think the Roids enable it pretty well. Playing even like just more hamsters and just going full like mill with it so that Express Roid can always be live, I think would be a legitimate route to take it, because I didn't feel like the Future Fusion Gold Sark stuff was really that fantastic. But the deck overall didn't feel too bad. Granted, we were playing against like 2 worse versions of the machine deck, but you know, that's how it goes against DB randos. So yeah, it's going to about wrap up the video for today. As always, let me know what you thought in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.